All right, let's look at some of the earnings coming up. They've been pouring in so far, and we see the likes of, for the first 9 months, Nestle Nigeria PLC recorded a pre-tax loss of about 255.38 billion naira on the back of a significant increase in finance costs. And we see Seplat Energy, they released its unaudited Q3 2024 results, reporting 532.15% year-on-year growth in profit before tax. That's for Seplat. Then for Transcorp PLC, we see the 352% year-on-year growth in profit before tax. That rose about 34.566 billion naira. Well, joining us to analyze now, we have Mukhtar Mohammed. He's the CEO, Finance with Mukhtar, joining me via Zoom. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Lani. Always a pleasure to be on your program.
So we see the results are pouring in right now. Looking at Nestle, what is the performance, telling us about doing business in the consumer goods sector?
Well, Lani, you and I know that it's going to be tough in that sector. The results from those sectors are same for every of those companies. When you're talking of Nestle, or whether you're talking of Nestle or you're talking of Cadbury, the consumer goods sector has just been steady in terms of results. And when I talk about steady in terms of coming up with negativity in terms of results, earnings per shares have been negative, lost about very, very high. And you know what is driving all this? It's just cost of sale, which also have to do with FX. So it's a very challenging time for the consumer goods sector. If you look at profitability, the profitability is still there. That's a good thing. So it's just the cost of sale, and this is largely driven because of the FX volatility. And hopefully, very soon, begin to see some stability in the FX space, and also we'll begin to see them coming out of the wood, especially in terms of shareholders from. Most of them are in the negative, and so it's impacting on their businesses. And that's why you are seeing the big cut in terms of cost of sale. And then the FX challenges are still there. So it's not just the ordinary Nigerians that are suffering from government policies. You can see that the conglomerate also are suffering.
Right, and how are you seeing, this impact as investor sentiment, towards the stock? What are you seeing, in the short term, following this result for Nestle?
Well, on the short term, for Nestle and any consumer, you expect negativity. I mean, you expect investors to look for safety. But a lot of investors depend on their perception and depend on their investment group. Some investors will still be looking at that space as regard long-term future. And some investors are dreaming of owning some of those stocks. So when they are down, they are still buying much of them. So I think it all depends on the investor group. But in the short term, market response are negative. You don't expect that to change because, again, when you look at the quality of equity in the market and the price band values that are losing, you really want to know that you really want to look for the qualities of good stocks that are still doing well and they are not losing, and they are not bleeding like some of these conglomerates. So definitely in the short term, I think negative, but in the long term, like I keep saying, that profit is still there. It's just that cost of sale and this is largely driven by this FX volatility. Hopefully, as we stabilize, as we drive that to a stable point and we see it come down relatively, then we can begin to see profitability in some of this equity. But like I said, It's a long-term process. For the short term, it's not looking good.
Right, and we keep talking about FX losses, when we're looking at these results. And it almost seems like if the naira strengthens, right now is going to save us a lot of headache when it comes to the price of PMS, when it comes to, most of the inflation, that we see now and the results from most of these companies. What do you think we should be doing in the short term to actually really strengthen the naira?
Ladi, it's becoming like a broken record when we keep saying to strengthen the naira, you need to also take a bite of your revenue. You need to also look at government expenditure. For me, I think the government seems to say one thing in one hand and do another thing. And one of those things we still saying we keep saying is the removal of tariff from household consumables. Up to this moment, we've not seen that come to the light. to start seeing the light of the day. Also, we thought that the crude oil, naira to crude sale, will see a reduction in terms of volatility and also a reduction in terms of demand for FX, since from the data I got from CBN said that 40% of our FX pressure is driven by importation of refined petroleum products. But we are not seeing that there. If you listen to Dangote yesterday, even the marketers, the NNPC, the marketers, the major marketers also, and also the independent marketer, nobody seems to want to take a refined petroleum product from Dangote. And so the pressure is still on the naira. So definitely, government need to take a bite of your revenue, and also the petroleum marketers will need to look at Dangote and then begin to do business with Dangote. Then you could see those rates stabilize. As it stands now, the pressure is still on the exchange rate. Ladi, I'm one of those people that do not believe that you have a robust reserve like what the CBN is priding themselves to have, almost 40 billion, and yet your exchange rate is almost 82,000. And I keep saying the challenge is not from that autonomous foreign exchange market. It's from the retail and the guy that the SME that need about $1,000, the one that needs $500. There's so much pressure on that retail, and liquidity in that retail angle is squeezed, and the CBN is not intervening in that angle like we expect them to. The only time you see them intervene now, by the time we see the naira almost hitting 2,000, you see them rushing liquidity to the people change. So I think they must come up with their strategy and make sure that you don't just keep money in the bank and then you are priding yourself to build a robust reserve, and yet your naira is suffering a lot of battle in the market.
You know, because it's quite interesting. I remember before now, it was all about, fix your refineries so that you can actually have domestic production, and that will somehow reduce the pressure on the naira, and we can get, affordable, energy. But it seems from what Dangote said, they're not buying, his products at this point. Well, we hope that changes, very soon. But, let's look at Seplat now. They play in the oil and gas industry. How did the exchange rate depreciation impact the result? It seems it was a positive, for them.
Yeah, Ladies, Seplat is positive, very positive. If you look at the results, the cost of sales a little bit high. Also, your revenue was good, gross profit was good. I think they tipped the balls, increment, about 20% increment in their dividend payout comparable to last dividend, interim dividend. So fantastic results, but there's a little bit challenge if you look at the results in detail. The natural gas sector suffers some dip in terms of production also, and that is the new energy. That's where even Nigeria itself is talking about CNG. And so I think they will look at that space to see how they can improve on that, to make sure that we begin to see them meet up production, especially in the natural gas sector. Also, when you look at this result, remember that this result does not factor in their recent acquisition. So hopefully, going forward, Seplat is a stock that most investors will definitely be looking at. The impact of the market, I think the market had already priced in what to expect. There was no serious market impact on it. But I think we're still buoyant going forward, especially when this acquisition is completed, which they said it's already completed, and we begin to see its impact in the bottom line of Seplat. So for now, I think most investors also are looking at the price. But Seplat has even done better than the entire market. If you look at the entire market, I've done about that. Seplat have done about 146% in terms of price increment, even above the petroleum sector's major players. So definitely, I think it's a stock that a lot of investors are looking at going forward because of this acquisition. It's a full holding, full oil and gas company, if I may. All its subsidiaries are listed compared to others that just list up the marketing arm of the downstream. All is the only thing that we say Seplat is not involved in refining of petroleum product or sales of crude oil. And I think going forward is a good stock for investors to look at.
All right, let's look at Transcorp PLC now. Impressive 352% year-on-year growth in profit before tax at 34 billion naira. So what do you think drove this impressive result there for Transcorp PLC? And do you think these results will play into a positive close for the market today?
Definitely, Ladi, it will. Again, what I like about this result is driven largely by their power sector, which profit about 84% of the profit came in from the power sector, which is telling you that sector is beginning to look very, very fantastic in terms of sales. But again, the cost of sale is still a major challenge there. This is largely driven because of cost of fuel and natural gas. And also that is also, remember this Transcorp PLC, that means we're talking about their other hospitality businesses might have a negative impact on them because of the cost of fuel and natural gas. So as like you rightly said in the first time, until we bring stability to that oil and gas space, we might continue to see these things play out. But it's a very good result. Coupled with the share reconstruction, it has made it very, very in terms of earning per share. Earning per share is huge, and so that means investors who are investing there will be thinking of getting large dividend payout. But again, we mustn't forget that this is a stock also that has peaked. It has grown in terms of leans and bounds last year about 666%. So definitely we are not surprised at what we are seeing. But like I said, what I like about the result is also because of that growth that is coming from the energy sector. And also what I like about the result also is also the shareholders fund also increased by 34%. It shows that it's a strong, very liquid stock. So once you begin to build shareholders through retained earnings and also through profits, and then you see a company that have a lot to offer.
All right. So much to unpack there. Definitely, Mukhtar. But we'll see how the market reacts to most of these results that are out now. It's Mukhtar Mohammed, CEO, Finance with Mukhtar. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Dad.
All right, so the market is open now. We'll see how it closes today. Maybe we might get some kind of snap. That's for the losses we're seeing this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ladi Williams. I hand things over now to the Sunrise Daily team.